It's time for Living with Victory, a program of hope and encouragement brought to you by Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Now, here are your hosts, Tony and Laureen Giorgio, with today's message of perseverance.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather, when the winds of this world are blowing strong.
Hey, welcome to Living with Victory. Proving life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass. I know you've heard it. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And it really is. You know why? Because it gives you peace, power, and joy through perseverance. And above all, we stress faith in Jesus Christ. A couple of quick reminders for you. You can email us at livingwithvictory@gmail.com. livingwithvictory@gmail.com, or you can call us at 828-926-4600. We'll give you more information on this toward the end of the program so that you can copy it down if you want. Want to express our thanks to our partners, the Journey Christian newspaper, which is a free print and online publication. It offers encouraging articles, local Christian events, as well as world and local news from a Christian perspective. You can visit journeychristiannews.com, the Journey Christian newspaper. Hey, and by the way, just to let you know that the first annual Christian Business Expo will be held October 20th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Ag Center's Davis building. And they're going to have a lot of activities, churches, Christian business, crafters, you name it. For more information, you can log on to WNCChristianExpo.com or give them a call at 828-676-6535. And this is another event sponsored by our friends at the Journey Christian newspaper. You'll be hearing more as we go along. And now we got that out of the way, all our business. And you know, in the coming months, you might take a look at the Journey Christian News. We'll probably have an ad in there, and you can catch it online. Like I said, so it doesn't matter where you are. If you can hear me, you can get a hold of it. And now I want to welcome my wonderful sidekick for years and years and years. 45 of them, huh?
Wow. Oh, yes.
Man, my wonderful wife, Laureen, who has the word of the day and our topic. Hey, Laureen, how you doing?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm happy that you've chosen to join us today. The topic today is, are we truly grateful? I'm taking Psalm 100, verse 4. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and a thank offering, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful and say so to him. Bless and affectionately praise his name. The other day I received a Plus booklet from Guidepost. It was about a family that was invited to a friend's house in the country many times, but felt uncomfortable to go because they had 5 children. Finally, they said yes and experienced such wonderful hospitality. There was more food than they could imagine, and every kind of food for the kids that they knew they would like to munch on. Every request was taken care of immediately, with no question. They had a beautiful lake behind their house and offered several types of boats for the kids and adults alike. They prepared everything for their comfort, and they made sure they would have a wonderful time. During the night, they had a very bad storm, a very severe thunderstorm, but they did not realize how severe until the next morning. Trees were down. They had no power. A tree fell on the empty cabin next door, and the fishing house was smashed flat. In short, the place was a mess. The visitors offered to leave, but they said no. The boats in the lake are fine. The power will be back on soon, and it's going to be a beautiful day. This shocked the visitor by the words of her hostess, because she came back to her and said, God is good. Just look, the cabin was untouched, and we are fine. And the visitor had been so shocked by the damage that she had not recognized the goodness. The property was an all-around mess, but the cabin stood fresh and white in the sun as it had the day before, and her boys were sleeping safe and sound. She realized then that the outpouring of hospitality her friends were giving was because they saw everything as a provision from the Lord. For them, opening their home was sharing what God had given them. It didn't depend on best circumstances. In their unconditional generosity, she saw an extension of God's grace. It got me thinking, do I thank him with qualification? Or do I say, this is good, Lord, but what about this?
Thinking through our own lives and really why we do this program, we're trying to tell people that we have been through the storms. And the thing is, you can't sit in the storm and look at the debris because there's so much around you that has been saved and not destroyed, but you're not seeing it. The saying, you don't see the forest for the trees, okay? And that's it. I remember getting sick and the phlebitis and the blood clots way back when we lost all the material possessions. And we got back on our feet. We prospered. We did things. The fact that I lived through it was the blessing and the miracle of God. The hand of Christ was there.
But along the way, we learned an awful lot. We learned an awful lot of lessons and how to change our ways and how to trust God more.
Exactly, because, the storms kept coming. That's what this is all about. In our years, we have seen more storms than you can shake a stick at.
The situation, though, is that you will never live your life without storms. You may go through a time of peace when everything seems to be in place, but it's not going to last. But the good news is that Christ never changes.
Right.
He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So he is the God when we're on the mountain, and he's the God when we're in the valley.
Right. When he says rest in him, he means it. He can do it. You take the story she just portrayed, just read. Everything around him was down. The trees were down, but that tree could have landed on the cabin. It didn't. They were safe all night long. They didn't even know what was out there until morning. You can't look at the bad and concentrate on that. Dwell on what didn't happen, not what did happen.
What you have.
Exactly, what you have and how you are progressing. You see, that's the whole thing in the story. Yeah, everything around them, but they didn't see the miracle. The house, the cabin they were living in, staying in, and the 5 kids could have been destroyed if that tree came that much closer.
But the lake and the boats were spared so they could still go out and have a good time.
Exactly.
So God knows what he's doing.
And he's watching. He's watching over you. I think there's a hymn that I don't remember all of, but he's watching. God is watching. He's watching over you. But what you have to do is step back, take a couple of deep breaths, and realize the sun is still shining. I don't care how much it rained on your parade, the sun comes out. That's what we're talking about. That's how you live life, especially if you're a believer in Jesus Christ Almighty, in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
The old hymn that says, count your blessings and name them one by one, so that you can see what God has done. I know that the longer I live, I have a history of how God has taken care of me. So I could look back and say, wow, if he brought me through this and through this and through this is nothing for him. I know he's going to take care of me, because as you look at your history, you know that he is a God that can be trusted. But if you sit down when you're feeling so low and even just take a paper and pencil and start writing the blessings that you have, you will find that problem that you're gazing at and fixing your sight on all of a sudden becomes very, very small.
if we were to mention a list of everything that has gone wrong in our lives, and the houses we lost, and the businesses we lost, and the illnesses that we've had, well, you want to go run and hide, but you can't do that. You know why? Because we're sitting here today, 45 years later, through all those storms and all that mess, and realize that, hey, the sun kept shining all through those terrible times, and some of them were bleh.
And that sun is S-O-N.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's S-O-N. And yeah, it gets hard sometimes because, boy, it keeps hitting you in the face and hitting you in the face. But you got to step back and have that faith. You've got to bring that out. You can't just go to church on Sunday and say, I have faith because I go to church on Sunday. You got to live it every day, and that's why Jesus gave it to you, and he gave you his grace. That's the whole thing. So the point of this really is that the storms in life don't count, really. It's how you take them, how you dance in the rain and believe in Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you, don't look at the dark side of the event. Look at the positive side, okay? If you would like a free copy of today's show, just ask us for offer 12807, or Laureen has a CD about her faith in battling breast cancer. You can email us for both at livingwithvictory@gmail.com and ask for Laureen's test of faith. We'll send them to you absolutely free. Also, remember this, we have two missions in mind with this radio ministry. And one, I think I've already explained, from our 45 years of married life and 30 years of advocating for seriously ill children, we have faced plenty of challenges. And we want to encourage you through this radio ministry, through our CDs, and share what we have learned by trusting Jesus and how he gets you through those storms. Like I say, with peace and joy, and that life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass. You have to keep going. You have to persevere and have faith in Jesus Christ, because you're not alone. He walks alongside of you. He's there. And I heard a commentary on the news the other night about this girl who was attacked and raped and almost left for dead. And her father said, well, where was God at this time? Where was Jesus at this time? Because she's professing her faith. And she said, he was there holding my hand. He was holding her hand. And you see, because the concept of Jesus, we're not puppets. He gives us free will. He's there for us, but there is evil and there is good. But he's there to help us along. She survived it all. She's getting married. Understand, the second point here also is that we want to keep helping families with seriously ill children who fall through the cracks, as we have done for 30 years. According to local children's cancer centers, the families are really having trouble today to get their treatment because of gas prices and out-of-pocket expenses for medications and things of that nature. We are making it very challenging for parents, and we shouldn't. And we'd like to have your help in this mission also. Just remember that. So until next week, this is Tony
and Laureen Giorgio.
You keep dancing in the rain because Jesus is your umbrella. Thank you.
You've been listening to Living with Victory with your host, motivational and inspirational speaker, Tony Giorgio. Support for Living with Victory comes from Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Your tax-deductible donations can be sent to Compassion for Kids, P.O. Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751. Tony is also available to speak to your group or organization. You can call him at 828-926-4600. Join us again next week at this time for another uplifting story of dancing in the rain.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side.